Good morning, everybody. Specifically, Tollpanzer. Good morning, Tollpanzer. Here I am starting with a voice crack. Ain't that something? Welcome in. As you may have noticed in the past second and a half, we're doing a frog today. What a lovely frog. We're gonna rig this so that it's usable as a VTuber. Alright. You know, this is like week 3 of using music here. I haven't actually checked to make sure that the VODs have been okay. Either way... So, what am I going to do here? I've realized there are multiple ways to run this. Currently, I've been starting them out with a parameter that turns them 0 opacity right at the start before I do any of the moving around and stuff. But it occurs to me I can save the parameters by just doing that in VTS. I'm going to try it that way. I might regret it, but I'm going to try it that way. So first things first, let's get the deformer tree built. There's a sketch layer. Delightful. Okay. Let's get the whole thing done. Now, everything is going to go in there. Actually, I'm going to remove the paper and the sketch layers. While we're at it, let's blank out the body. Because I am curious what I'm working with for the legs. Okay. I actually think we might not get very much eye motion here. So those will stay. We'll need a left eye deformer at least. Whoops, that was caps lock, not shift. Excuse me. Hem. Hem. All right, so we've got limbs. We've got a torso here. We'll need an upper jaw and a lower jaw. And got left eye and right eye. Well, the upper lip is going to need something. Also going to need to name the meshes. There's the upper lip. Might use a deformer just to make a group for the mouth stuff. Matter of fact, grab those and this. There we are with the mouth. And everything is going to get its own deformer. On the one hand, it's nice to feel that I'm getting faster at this. On the other hand, this is definitely an easier tree to make than most things. Alright, one of these days I'm going to need to learn mouth forms. I don't know if I'm going to do mouth forms for this. I really want to, but I don't think I have the chutzpah right now. Because that's the kind of thing you have a whole chart for, and you're learning where each vowel sound goes. So turning this frog is going to be something. Normally I start with the eyes because that's very constrained within its own self. However, we've got eyelids and eyelashes. Eye shines and eye sparkles. The eye itself is just one layer. Well, let's try something here. We're going to auto mesh that for heavy deformation. Ooh, that's pretty. Now that we have auto meshed that, we're gonna give it its own deformer. Okay, so there's Bezier divisions and then conversion divisions. I don't remember what Bezier divisions are. I figured it out the other day. Oh, yes, how many green arrows we have. So what am I going to want for something like this? I think I'm going to want it 4x4. And we'll make this extra fancy. We'll say 7x7. Try that again. There we go. Maybe I don't need that many Beziers. Or is it conversions? We'll keep the 7x7, but we'll leave the other one 2x2. Now, got angles, open, smile. Eyeball X and Y, I suppose. I don't know if I want to synthesize corners on these because, well, it's round. Corners aren't round. So we'll start here. Pupil movement now has values. Okay, there is one issue in that I forgot to move the keyframe before I did that. Let's get these shines and sparkles out of the way. So we'll move the whole thing, then we'll get smaller. Actually, there we go. So how does that look? You know what? Maybe this one just doesn't have eye movement. Honestly, probably not a big loss. Because, I mean, nobody's that I know anyways. Nobody that I know is using this with enough oomph in the tracker to actually track the eyes, the pupils. I think this is That was dramatic. Okay. So anyways, where's the lash in the lid? So if we get rid of the lashes, no, that was, let's rename that quick. I think I'll call this eye bottom lid out. There we go. Giving these art meshes titles. I said the wrong word. It's a lash, not a lid. I, bottom, lash, L, enter. There we go. Took me a few tries. And this one is top because it's not the bottom. There we go. Top eyelid left. There, we're getting it. There. These are going to be so easy to identify. Okay, what else? Oh, yes, I was figuring out where does the eyelid end? Okay. I see. I think I'm going to get rid of those eyelids. Because I can make do with just the lashes. Having gotten those out of the way, let's get with the renaming. It should probably be... I should probably do... not side A, but like body part, specific body part, and then laterality. Because when you go looking for the eyelash on the bottom at the left-hand side, you look for the eyelash bottom L as opposed to the eye top lash. This way, the lashes will be next to each other. Shine and sparkle. There we go. Eyelash bottom R. Eye sparkle. eye shine. But am I going to do some kind of eye motion? It worked really well on Solidus because he had those big glasses. It's going to feel weird, but I'm going to experiment with not doing that at all. So first things first, we're going to take the eye shine and clip it to eye iris L. We're going to take the eye sparkle and do the same thing. I'm going to take the iris, and this is actually fine. Because what am I going to do with it? This is going to be the eye open. So do I need a warp deformer if I'm going to use a deform path? So we're going to... Oh, wait, hold on. That's still usable. I can do that. Worst case scenario, I go into the texture atlas and mess with it directly. So hold on. Where's the... Yep. Yeah, so this black line is part of the eye itself, but it's also part of the eyelash. Well, there's no way to know until we actually try it. I should probably do more. So it's already slated for heavy deformation, which means this is a good test case for this. 6, 7, 8, and then we hit it with the connection. We got these dots here. So we switch to this one. There we go. Okay. So I don't need a warp deformer on this. One more just to be safe. Yeah, that's where I want it to be. Okay, so we're going to have when the eye is open. At 1, it's going to stay where it is. At 0, it's going to shrink. What's going on here? Seriously, what the hell is up with this? Something's wonky, what with that being a circle. So we connect that. And then it should move normally. It does not. It moves only backwards. And with a reduced capacity. Bizarre. You know, maybe I just got too many paths in here. Okay, let's take a look at that. Does that work? I didn't notice, but I'd actually undone the keyframe by that point. So let's try that again, actually. I think it's almost time for a new mouse. Right. We're getting it. We're getting it, I tell you. Except for a couple of weird holdouts. So if we put this back in, yeah, that's doable. I can work with that. It's only the top lash and the bottom lash to follow along here. So they're each going to need a path, and they're each going to need keyframes. 2, 4, 5, 6. There we go. And we'll just give it some keyframes there. Now at 0. What an inconvenient time for hiccups. Bring the whole thing down. The whole entire thing. So this one is just sliding up and down along the path. It's not its own thing for some reason. Why is it doing that? Hold on. That was the second thing I clicked. Is it because it was within that circle? It's still the second one. So if we start with 1, it all says width 200, hardness 50. But these can actually move. Oh, this one can move now. Why is that? No idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So can we move these? We sure can. So when this eye is closed, this is weird. Why is it doing that? You never can tell with bees. That being said, why are the top parts no longer attached? Are they somehow on the back of it? Why in the world is it doing that? Those two are just totally disconnected. So, top lash. I forgot to give this sucker deformation. Auto for, we'll say little deformation. There, it's got a mesh now. That may have been related to some of the weird problems this was having. How about now? Yeah, that seems to be working better. That's a whoopsie doodle. Okay, so let's give it a keyframe for the third time. And we'll get the thing aligned. Alright, so this thing tends to scrunch a little bit. I can work with that, though. I can figure something out. Or rather, I can fake it. Yeah, I'll just fake it. Bottom lash. Yeah, bottom lash, give it a minor mesh. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Give it some keyframes, and when the eye is closed, we're going to put it right here. And there we have it. There we go. We'll make that all nice and pretty. Frog wink. Wink. Wink, wink, wink. I know what I should be doing. I should be just compressing the edges of that top half. All right, top lash. Time for me to do better. I can just squinch this in here. And all of a sudden, it's going to be freaking out. Yeah, no, I'm gonna pretend I didn't try that. I'm just gonna let that be a little bit scuffed. And we'll do the same thing with the right eye. Now, what am I going to do about smile articulation? I know that I should have little crow's feet on the smile. Hmm. Let's see, this is iris L. Iris R. Get this clipped. There we go. So yeah, top and bottom lash. Once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we loop it together. So now, when the right eye open value hits 0, undo, undo. Let's try it with this one. Turns out the upper lip doesn't quite cover the mouth. That's fine, I can fix that. So as I'm squishing this thing down, now one of these is actually going to have to go up just a bit. Actually, we'll say all of them. We'll put it on the purple. There we go. And then the keyframes. Why is it doing that? Today is a learning day because what in the hell is going on with half of this? So we're just going to squish this up manually, and we're going to see if that looks noticeably stranger. Because if it does, that'll be a problem. If we cover up that, that's just a little sliver. All right, I can get this done, I swear. What a day full of strange happenings. Suppose I should put a very slight cant on... What? What have I got here? Oh, that's the... There we go. Put a slight tilt. Just shrink the damn thing. Yeah, that looks about right. So now we'll take the top lash. We'll give it some little deformation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And with the keyframes, down we go. Belongs to yesterday. We can take it too far, believing now that we can be who we are. Okay. Bizarre, but I think it's working. Bottom lash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one behaved a little nicer on the other side, so let's hope that holds true. Start here. What in the... It's doing that thing again. Why is it doing that? This is just totally disconnected. I gave it the deformation, didn't I? Well... Actually, it's looking like I didn't. So, let's try that again. And then we'll give it the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's behaving much more nicely. Make sure that covers up all the purple. Overall, looks kind of eyelashy. Beat bottom lash R. We'll just hide that away. Smooth it out a little. I'm gonna touch that left one as little as possible. Blink, blink, blink. Oop, let's finish logging into that. Who is this? Oh, it's Michael Jackson. That would have been my guess, but I would have had to guess. I think somebody might have bumped the CD player. I've also got a bunch of video game soundtracks, which includes like 8-second stingers. Right. So I've got the eye blinks. After the eyes blink, we've got to rotate the whole frog. I should put physics on the crown and the flower crown. Dances are for afterwards, but once we've got... Oh, mouth movement. Durr. So what am I working with the mouth? Because I guess overall rotation should probably be the last thing. Got an upper lip, I got a lower lip. Well, let's give it the fancy deformation. It's all I want to say to you. Goo doo doo, da da da. Innocence is all that's due. Do do, da da da. It's all I want to say to you. So I've got cheek, I've got mouth open. Mouth open is going to be the main one I'm working with. I remember doing some parallax stuff with the mouth on Solidus's model, but that was just tied to angle X. So let's do mouth open first. So upper lip is not going to be keyframed. The deformer upper lip is going to be keyframed to mouth open. So I've still got the fancy deformers set. That is not necessarily a bad thing. So what am I going to do here? Am I going to have this? Oop, that's the button. What if I just kind of do the whole thing a bit at a time? I realize I'm not entirely sure how a whole cat mouth talking would work. Probably because cats don't talk. I got this backwards. Reflect that. I think we're going to have to swoop this in a little. There we are. Where are we? Here we are. Yeah, this is very freehand, and usually if I'm doing something freehand, it's because I haven't thought to use the proper tool. I've actually got some Lemon Demon albums on here that I've never listened to. Here we go. That's looking a little smoother. So that is because I moved the behind dots a little further forward. There, that looks quite nice. So how's that? Do I like the way that looks? I think that'll do. Excuse me. So, let's take the lower lip. Give it some dots. Now let's get this thing moving. Wow, these are all fancy. These are all perhaps too fancy, actually. I can fix this. That's manual edit. That's so the deformers. That's a temporary deform tool. Oh, I can just adjust these here. Also, these are just 5x5s. I am a fool. Okay. So the lower lip. What in the... Okay. I forgot to keyframe that. Okay, so when the mouth is open, we're gonna lower this down a little. Pop, 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 pop. Yeah, that looks fine. I could try and fit some smile articulation in here. But she's already happy. I should also add some tongue movement in there. Just basic should do. Standard should work. I've been low, I've been us, and I've been, oh hell no, I've been rock and roll and disco. Won't you save me, San Francisco? Alright, so we're going to put a deformation loop on that one. When the mouth opens, we're going to make the tongue a little bit different. We're going to make it a little bit higher in the middle. Bring it down at the sides. I take it back. We're going to do a 3-top for this. We're going to put the middle step is going to be the slightly taller one. Slightly taller, rounder tongue form. And then here, we're going to make this the wider and flatter sort of tongue. Go back there. All right, it's not perfect. I think I might move part of this to be a little bit further down. Yeah, I think I'm going to move multiple parts of that to be further down. Have that just touching the lips at... Oh, for the love of... On the other hand, no, that's fine. That's fine. It's weird, but it's usable. So this is the part where we cheat this all, fake it a whole bunch because the lip doesn't go quite far enough down. The body markings should be stacked above the lip. I could do better on this upper lip. That should hopefully be a little more natural when it's done. It's a little more natural, but it's also a little bit off kilter. There, that'll do it. I think even on that last frame, the tongue should be a little bit lower. We don't need quite that much tongue. It's something. So we've got mouth movement. Now we need body rotation. Body rotation is gonna be a pain. I can also mess around with the hands. By setting opacity, I've got the markings here. So, what if I blanked out all of the eye stuff, all of it, and all the mouth stuff, and the body markings, and I'll say and the arms. Whoop, that's the body. And move the legs in front. Yeah, I can turn this frog around. But how am I going to do that? It will be tricky, to say the least. I'm going to hide the crowns because I'm not working with those right now. I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have all of my standard back and forth turning, and I'm going to end it on... I'm going to make like a 4 keyframe parameter. The first 3 are going to be the standard forwards, and then the 4th is going to go from the far side to a flip. I'm not 100% certain I can do this, but I'm going to find out. And then what I can do is I can duplicate the body. Yeah, I can duplicate the body, set everything to clip to it, and then that'll be my backup. Because when I want everything to be disappeared, all I have to do is just disappear the duplicate body. Won't work with the eye bumps. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was turning all the stuff back on. All right, and the limbs. Frog will need limbs. Or I guess instead of clipping it all together, I could just put another solid layer in front of it. So I'd need the legs to be in front all of a sudden. I think I'm going to need extra... Okay, so first off, I'm going to start simple. Body X. Well, should I maybe just do a full extra parameter for body flip? I probably should. So we'll start with the standard body turning. I'll have to also switch the legs because the legs have the dots baked in. The dots as well. I can flip it upside down or something. Okay, but one thing at a time. One thing at a time. I shall never finish if I never start. We are working on body X. So how am I going to do that? And how far am I going to turn? All right, so that's the crown. So lazy option. That's going down. I'm going to have to move the spots. I am for sure going to have to move the spots to turn this frog. Body marking. Oh, that's going to be trouble. That's going to be trouble. Now, can I mess with this in the texture atlas? Model ID, temporary deform tool. Art mesh? No, that's not it. Art mesh vertex number. Ah, there we go. Texture atlas. Onion skin. So I do not yet have a texture atlas. How do I generate that? I generated a texture atlas last time. Show grid, highlight vertices. Is it just this button? Yeah, it's just that button. Yeah, let's cancel that for now. Gonna turn these back on because they do need to be in the texture atlas. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get this because this doesn't really have editing. All this has is the boundings. And I know this because on my model, I kept having things show up in other layers because there's just so much going on with mine I would have my antlers would have a little snippet of the barrel and a little snippet of my knee because they were just packed too close together. So I had to do a fair bit of shuffling just to get that darn thing to exist all in one piece. Or not in one piece, rather. So if the frog is going to turn around, the frog is going to have a bald back. So I'd need a parameter called something like facing forward. I can also do a breathe on this one. Maybe. Yeah, I can do a full body. What in God's name? Okay, so that seems like a terrible idea, actually. Mouth, yeah, all that, lower lip, yep, right eye. Yeah, so we're going to need a different full body deformer because this one is only the size of the crown. Let's grab all of those and try a new warp deformer. What? Hmm. Can I bring the paper back in? Maximum number of drawable objects is 100. Got it. Okay, I can bring the paper back in. Perfect. This is the... I think this is the karaoke version. Yeah, that's strange. I'm not going to listen to that unless I'm singing along. Hello, Mesmer. It's always a guess. I've got like 3 people with that exact same shade of blue, and it does not show up very well. All right, but what am I going to do here? So I want the big deformer to be parent of everything because Froggy wants a VeggieTales dance. But also a breathe. I can do a breathe with that. Correction, it should probably be done with just the body, or the body and the markings. With the facial features just catching up. The paper can stay out. But what am I going to start with? What am I going to start with? Let's make a torso deformer. It's going to contain body and body markings. How's it going, Mesmer? These are both going to need to be meshed. We'll give them standard meshes. Ooh. Okay. I might have something I can work with here. Yeah, I could duplicate that. And just hide that center dot under something. Or I could just make it into a lighter colored dot at the side. But that is not yet. Right now is the task in front of me. How many parameters has mouth got attached to it? 1. But I think I'm going to grab all of those and make a new deformer. There's gotta be a way to do groups. There's just gotta be. Well, it allowed that one. It's included the body. I see what I've done. I should not have included torso in that. So left, right, mouth, and the hats. Oh, the eye bumps. But not torso. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Yes. Yes, that's got it. So this is going to be face. There we go. Gone. New. Okay, I should. Whoops, sorry about that. That probably made an awful sound. All right. I think it's about time for me to be retightening my microphone stand as well, because that was a fair range of motion. Either way, what am I doing? I'm gonna put the breathe on. That's gonna be torso and face. Torso is going to get slightly taller and slightly narrower. But just a very little bit. I did it backwards again. Reflect that. Yeah. And now face is just gonna scoot a little bit to keep up with that. Yeah. That looks good. Maybe a little bit less. There, now we don't have any changes like having this nub disappear. Those arms should definitely be in front of that. So, oh, geez, that takes them all the way up to the top, huh? I mean, it makes sense. They're going to be in front of everything. Oops. Yeah, let's do that on the actual project layer. So we'll put those limbs above the body markings. So with the limbs, I can make the frog wave. I can make the frog look back and forth and up and down. Am I going to do down? So how am I going to do left? I'm going to have to move this. First off is going to be the markings. That's what I'm going to do. They're going to get a fancy deformer. This one's going to be 4x4. At edit level 2, I can actually see it. No, I'm doing it wrong. I don't want 4x4 because it's not counting the dots, it's counting the squares. So what I want is a 3x3. And I'll give it a 7x7 so it has a lot of articulation. Yeah, that looks good. That looks right. That's going to be body X. So somebody has keyframes on body X, but I don't see anything. How do I rename this? Let's try this one more time. Markings. 3x3x7x7. Why is this so big? That might be trouble. So first things first. I am going to apply keyframes to body X. So when body X turns left, to my left, it is going to end with the far side being kind of squished down. Okay, so let's see how that looks. All right. Looks decent. Probably best to use the green things as much as possible. Oop, there's another layer down there. And it's okay for the ones at the bottom to not move as far, as well as the ones at the top, because that's how spheres work. That's actually looking really good right off the bat. That's a good start. Gonna have to take the limbs with me. I might have to stretch these things out. Otherwise, it's going to look a little strange. All right. Making breakfast. All right. Though, if you are around, I'm pretty well content just to keep on rambling to myself. I am going to take this opportunity to just check in. Hey, the audio is good, right? I don't have the music too loud or too quiet or anything. I'm not deafening anybody with my high school playlists. Who am I kidding? I didn't make playlists in high school. This is a library shuffle. All right, let's stretch these suckers. Okay, so that's shrinking downwards, so that's no good. Let's drag this out just a tad. So, what'll I get if I just reflect that motion? Oh, thank heck. Oh, I love it when things are easy. Now I hide the feet. Just popped in. Ah, perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. So can I be lazy and leave the legs where they are? Let's find out. Okay. All right, I'm renaming that. Arm L. There we go. Now we're back to consistency. No, we're not. I'm confused. So this should be... This should be arm R. And this should be arm L. There. Now it's weirdly out of order. But at least things are on the same side. How am I doing? I am I'm having a good time with rigging. It makes me happy. I am cautiously ambitious that hey, maybe in a month or two I'll be actually good enough at this to sell the skill, which well, I mean, economically that would be a nice thing to have, a nice fallback. But also creatively that would be very fulfilling. I would have a real contribution to make in this space. And I've got I'm going to classify this under the same broad heading as why I get the warm fuzzies from giving blood. Like the joke, well, wouldn't it be weird if your blood was in some other guy's boner? But, like, no, having somebody else built out of parts of me that I had given them, that would be so cool. And in this space, seeing people's entire face, entire presentation be something that I built, it would be not unlike having my own art come to life. It would be not unlike building my own Pinocchio. So, like, I like the sound of it. It seems pretty cool. All right. I should give these deformers. Yeah, I should give it deformers. Arm left. These are still the fancy ones. That's a little bit too fancy for an arm. 2x2 and 5x5. Like this frog, this very round frog is fun to play with because it's got a lot of potential. There's a lot that I can do with this round frog that I could not play with as easily on a more complex model. So I might be sending this one out with some real shenanigans attached to it. I'm definitely going to put wobble physics on the crowns. I'm thinking of putting jiggle physics on the entire frog, which, if it comes across weird, can be deactivated. I think it would be very funny to have a frog that just kind of just a slime, just a not Dragon Age, Dragon Quest. I think Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior in the States. This is gonna bug me. I must know. Yes, it is Dragon Quest. Sorry, somebody's honking, and it's strange. Either there was a near miss of an accident and someone's having a honk fight, or somebody's partying at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday with a pickup truck. And, you know, I can't say for certain one way or the other. All right, what am I doing? I'm naming this arm. It would be nice if there was an automatic shear tool. It would be nice enough to the point where I wonder if there is a shear tool, because that seems like the kind of thing that would exist. All right, but to start with, arm left and arm right. So I'll need to shear this a little bit. I do like the rotation. Move this whole center part over. Did that? Yeah, no, it did. Heckin' thing. All right. So how's this? Let's give it a bit of a spin. And let's re-anchor that. Too much spin. That's looking pretty good. Maybe a little bit longer. Yeah, that looks pretty intentional. So let's follow it up with the left arm. So at midpoint, these are almost touching. Sounds like a good baseline. There we go. Maybe we get this a little bit further out even. Does that look like it's turning? I think that does all right. So let's do it in the other direction. Start with this arm. And we'll look at how it works on the other side. Crosses to like ankle bone, more or less stays in line with the very edge. So let's get this squinched down. Come on now. That got it. Wait a minute. This is doing very little to the... I'm a fool. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to give any sort of deformation lattice to these things. That'd explain why there's so little going on. You'd think I wouldn't forget the very basic stuff anymore, but I seem to be forgetting that most of all. Okay. I'll let the deformers exist. Hit it with a standard auto. Okay, yeah, that'll do it. Now, let's try that a second time. So we'll need our 3 dots. And over here, we are going to be moving this thing. Before I give it that twist, come on now. That's interesting. What have I discovered here? I can control click. So what does control clicking get me? How is that different from just regular clicking? Bizarre. Either way, I seem to have what I wanted. I'll need to turn this... What the hell was that? No, turn. Okay, I think I overdid it just a tad. So let's get this all squinched into the side. And catch up the back just a bit. It twists a little right here. I can fix that. That middle is still going faster than the rest of it. Now we catch up this part. Titch too far. Get that toe a little bit longer. Yeah, that looks good. Now we do it with the left arm. So first off, we're going to drag that. Can I control click this? That's just going to bring the whole thing with... That's going to actually move the entire framework. Okay, that's what a control click is for. Shift locks it. I don't know if Alt does anything. Hey, hydrate. Thank you, thank you. I shall hydrate. I don't know who Humberto Ramirez is, but this album cover looks an awful lot like Grayscale Weezer, which is just wild. And I checked because does this not sound like a Spanish guitar cover of Sound of Silence? All right. Let's get this. I think it wants me to do it like this. I guess come to think of it, there's nothing wrong with doing it that way. It's just not the way that I thought of doing it first. But that being said, there's nothing wrong with doing it this way. Yeah, I think I can be lazy with that front arm. So now we go the other way. And this is no longer the front arm, so I'm no longer going to be as lazy with it. So we'll give just a bit of a turn up here. And we're going to squinch this in. I really should have done this before rotating it. Yeah, that would certainly help with my understanding of space and dimensions. Maybe a little bit much there. We can dial that back. Should be smaller overall as well. Yeah, that looks about right. And we'll go with the right arm now. Slide the whole thing over. Tuck this in a tad. And stretch out the other side a tad. Because what else is there to do? I am going to have to move those legs. Boy, that's some intense eye contact. She stare until I rig up the face to do something. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. Him. Really no way this wasn't inspired by Sound of Silence, unless it's a million monkeys and a million typewriters situation. Yeah, the thing is, like, with the name, maybe this is just some Spanish guitarist from the 40s. Maybe it's modern. I don't know. I don't know where half of the music on my computer came from. I accumulated a bunch, and then I got sent my sister's collection, and then I got sent my dad's collection. Then I downloaded a couple of albums because I could. So this is a big honkin' file folder, and it's full of all kinds of stuff. Well, not all kinds. Actually, I don't know. I may have the Danish and or German rap metal. I'm not sure. Pretty sure I've got some Nephew. I've definitely got 80s stuff, like I think this is Whitesnake. This is Kim Mitchell. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna need meshes and deformers. Meshes and deformers on the legs because they are gonna need to do things. Or could I use... I can make the brush size bigger. Oh, it's a selection box. Yeah, that'll do. Get this a little bit more into the center. It's doing that thing. Actually, no, I'm just still on the selection box. All right, is this going to work with me? I think it's going to work with me. Heck yeah, it's going to work with me. So the leg is going to have body X. So when it comes here, the leg is going to tuck up a little bit. Oh, that looks so good. Okay, so on the other side, the leg is still going to need its deformer pen. There we are. And it is going to get keyframes. Except this one is going to stick out. Try again. Try again. There we go. I've got the dot. Oh, that's perfect. I love this album, and it's kind of jank. Once, while showing this to friends, Flapjack Jones referred to this album as the least musical thing I have ever heard in my life. It might have just been the one particular song, but oh, he did not have a good time with this. All right, let's get, not the arms, the legs. Let's get the legs. So with the legs, we are now at this far point. How's that looking? Terrible. So the bottom needs to more or less stay in the same place, and the top needs to pivot back. Oop. There we go. So how's this one? Yeah, that looks better. Let's get that other leg rigged up. So that is much smoother on that side. Which I think means I need to make this a little bit lower. Oh, come on. I wasn't even close to that red dot. Yeah, that looks pretty good. But what am I going to do next? So I've got my body X. No, I don't have that yet, actually. I still need to finish that. So I guess that's what we're doing. We're finishing body X. And we are doing that by adjusting the face. Can I be lazy about this? I'm feeling like the answer is going to be no. But we're going to find out first. I'm going to have that little dot there. Okay, so I can't be so lazy that I forget to put in keyframes. I certainly cannot do that. So let's try this now. Just bring that down to the side, stretch that out a tad. And then zip it over here. Actually, this is better than I expected. Just get this. Yeah, snug that in just a bit so that the lines line up. Nope, this absolutely won't work because I need to change the relation of where that mouth is to... Well, let's see. Let's try it. No, I definitely need to change the mouth in different proportions to where I'm changing the eyes. But it was a good start. So I will need deformer groups. Well, deformers to be groups. Not occipital. Orbital. So now the left orbital is going to have keyframes on body X. be shrinking. Yeah, this looks pretty good. A little bit jank, just a tad. Definitely gotta get this. Gotta get the proportions here to be a little bit fixed. What in God's name happened here? Yeah, maybe this is having an effect on things. On the other hand, it works, and I'm not going to mess with it. Okay, okay. So, when the orbital moves, for body X, I've got to mess with the lashes a bit. I might have to sacrifice the looking up and down again. That feels wrong. Might have to sacrifice head tilt, because you can only, in the free version, you can only have 2 parameters per object. Or maybe 3. No, I think it's 2. But I definitely need, well, do I need? Does it look good? No, it does not. It looks weird and off kilter. So that does need to be fixed. It closes fine. But when it's open at a far angle, hold on. What have I done? Oh, okay, you know what? We're going to do something here. We're going to edit the parameter. Body angle X. Hold on, what? From body angle X? Well, then what's this? Param angle X. That... I guess the body and the face are usually, excuse me, are usually set differently. But I am going to have to change this. So this... that is just angle X, and it is parameter angle X. So we're going to have to change the body parameter. Angle X. Parameter angle X. And I'll bring this up to the top. That's something to do with the eyebrows. YX, perfect. Then angle X, that's coming with me. I said angle X, not brow. Okay, now I rearrange the eyebrows because that got a little bit out of control. It looks like these generally go X, Y, so I've got these upside down now. So let's swap that. I'm not even using these parameters. She doesn't have eyebrows. But still. So we're going to swap this back to where the other one was. So let's get the body put back where it belongs. There, it's a blank parameter, but it's in the right spot now. So I've got my angle. Let's get our keyframe. So over here, we need to make some slight adjustments to this. Nothing too extreme. Same deal with the bottom lash. Just a nice, pleasant realignment. I'm also going to have to mess with the sparkles. Yeah, I might have to get the whole body in on this. I'm gonna see if I can not do that, because as soon as I establish that the torso can move, it gets a lot more difficult to do shenanigans. So I bump L. Alternately, the left orbital. If I try to do this with the full orbital, it's going to cause problems. So we'll do it with I bump L. And we're going to do it with a deformer on I bump L. Post orbital L. So we're just going to stretch this out a bit. Come on. Oh boy, this does not want... This does not... There we go. Very janky. Does it work, though? Well, not without a keyframe, it doesn't. I keep forgetting my dang keyframes. All right, so that exists. Let's give it some keyframes. Now, let's give it an opportunity to work. So I'm having such trouble with it because of my Beziers? I think that is word. Okay, so we're even getting some 3D effect from the eyelashes pulling back. Yeah, I like that. Is this still Civilization music? Oh no, this is a Shakespeare game that I've never actually played. Okay. So the mouth. Mouth needs to move. The mouth does have dots on... Cool. Mouth is prepared. But it is going to be a little bit persnickety on account of being several layers, which I have already established that I needed to fiddle with. Breakfast has been eaten. Very good. Very good. Sehr gut. So, can I mess with this to such a degree that it covers up all of that pink? Okay, that's just pink on the texture itself. Hold on. Texture Atlas, what are we doing here? Oh, it might be tongue. And mouth open has 3 points because the tongue changes shape. So this is going to be something. Can I set the order? Got deformers part, clipping ID. Can I keyframe draw order? Because, boy howdy, would that be nice. Let's see. Orbital L. So right eye and eye bump R. We're going to put that under orbital L, orbital R. Orbital R, there we go. So now we are prepared. So, well, let's start simple. We're going to move it over. We're going to need to change the draw order on the crowns. That is a need. That is a must. Stretch this out good and far. Try again, me. That's not how perspective works. Stretch out the right side to make it look left. But not quite that much. Let's compress in that left side. So how's this? That seems squished flat. This is mouth open. Ah, guess what I forgot to do again. Keyframes. Okay, we've got angle X keyframes. There we go. So let's try that same thing again, but, you know, with keyframes this time. That's a little bit significantly too much lateral movement. Let's take a quick check. What all in here has lattices? The eye does not. Sparkle and shine do not. That thing does. So I guess it helps to have this thing be kind of just big and chunky. But this is absolutely glued down. Why doesn't it move like that on this one? Well, this is, in fact, the post-orbital. Let's try that again. Yeah, like that goes all over the place. So this one, why are they absolutely locked together? Maybe they're not. Hmm. I guess a better question is, why is the eye staying still? And I think the eye might be staying still because of where its anchor points are. But this eye should be in a similar space, shouldn't it? I guess it wouldn't be, because this one has that one dart way out down south. So I've moved that back over. What if I move it all the way back here? Does that look better? Well, first off, that went up. So to get the eye looking nice, I need the eyelashes and the sparkles to move further than the iris. I also need the iris to stay pretty much round. Hmm. So what if I moved that out of that deformer? All right, I'm going to undo what I just did. We're going to angle it to the left. And we're going to do what needs to be done. Oh, and this thing doesn't like to move away from the center. What a pain in the butt. Okay. All right, is that about the right distance? It'll do. Take the iris out of the right eye deformer. Not that. I'm just going to do the cheat version of what I did last time. I forgot the keyframes. I've moved that. There we go. All right, let's take another look at this. Is this what I want it to be? That eye does need to move a little bit. And the sparkles need to move a little bit more. Try again. There we go. That's better. That's better. But we are going to need to take this eye, make just a few changes. You know what? I'm going to take this big old brush, make it honkin' big, just kind of brush it. Of course, once again, I forgot the dang keyframes. So there we are. Now, how's that? My eyelashes are getting away from the eye. So if I dial those back a little bit, that might be all I need. Whenever we pretend it's summer, then I'm the worm. I know the part, it's such a bummer, but fair is fair. If my segments get separated, I'll scream, and you'll be there. Forgot the keyframes. Meet my undersea friends. Is they arrive, if they arrive. You and I left our troubles far behind. But I've still got just one more question on my mind. Well, my pals who live in the oceans and the seas, with friends like these, well, who needs enemies? Da 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 da. This is one of the first albums I ever bought. I think I bought two at once. It was this and Scissor Sisters. And if it wasn't that, then I've well and truly forgotten which one of those two came first for real. So, crown. You can adjust draw order. Heck yeah. Okay. Okay, so crown. $4.99. However, it can't be that. So at 500, I need to move. Yeah, instead of changing the crown, it would be much easier to change the thing that is in front of it now. I can't do draw order for the entire thing. What about just the eye bump? Give that a... I'm screaming. Okay. Did I really not do anything with that? God, this is a mess. This is a mess. Okay. And yep, I'm gonna need to put the draw order of all the rest of the stuff up as well. Though, these things can just always be 501, I guess. Because they can be in the front. Okay, let's take a look at that and see how it goes. I think the eye bump is just going to need to be in front all the time. Alternately, are there any keyframes on this? There are not. So we'll put the body at the back. So we've put the body at the back, which means we can put the crown on 498. No, 499. There, crown behind eyes. Darkest dungeon, no star to be seen above. In without a stumble to the arms of me only love. Her bedroom window, kneeling gently upon a stone. I rapped at her bedroom window, my darling dear, do you lie alone? Yeah, here we go. Though the legs are in front now. That's the other thing that was going on. So, I will set the draw order of the legs to 497. Both legs in all circumstances. So this might be something that I should start doing in the future. Setting up draw orders before I get any keyframes in. All right, that'll do. We can look to the right now. So we'll start with the orbital right. Ah, congratulations on attaining the first quack. It's out here. Incorrect. Well, yeah, of course the red ones are going to do that. But the green ones are also going to do that, which is weird. Not weird. That's how it's supposed to work. That is entirely normal. The other one is acting weird. It's convenient the way it's acting, which is unfortunate because I would much rather have the normal one be the one that works well. That was planted in my brain, still remains amid the sound of silence. Through restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobbled stone, beneath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp. when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. Writing songs that voices never share. 'Cause no one dare. I am full of rage. Ooh. Make your decision. Am I going to be locked to the... Oh, interesting. If I double-click, I can select what I want. So I want the orbital, which is going to take everything. Okay. Okay, how are we doing? How are we doing? So now we'll take the right eye and we'll scoot this all a little bit further. Tuck it in. Does that look good? Something's not right here. What is it? I think the left edge of that eye is not keeping up. So with this adjustment... Oh, that's awful. Well, that's a mesh edit. That's not what I wanted. How about this? Still looks a little weird, but I think with all of the jank I've been encountering, this is the best I'm going to get. So let's move the mouth. It moves to the side, and it kind of expands. Yeah. Shrinks over here. Grows over here, just a bit. Yeah, I think that works. Now, let's go with the left orbital. This is an indie artist from Vancouver, I think, which which means this album is very difficult to find on the internet. It's on Tidal, but it's not on much else. It's not on Spotify. So what's happening with that left eye is that something is keeping that pupil from moving. But that leaves both of the sparkles on the glitter layer in their own eyeball shaped movement. And that looks really good. I am unsatisfied with that right eye. All right, I'm going to manually tuck this in with the eyelashes. Is that going to help? That top eyelash needs a bit of a touch up. That'll do. Well, how's it going? I'm changing the eyeball itself too much. All right, is this better? Oh, right, I brushed it. I used that big old deformation brush. I've also got a random assortment of Eurovision stuff in here. I think that's as good as I'm getting it. So, can I still... I'm really going to have to put a dead zone in that. I'm going to have to put a serious dead zone in that. Either it's all the way open or it's all the way closed. It'll do. I should save this. Small little froggy. Yeah, that'll do it. Yep, you sure don't want to lose 3 hours of work. Oh, it's almost 3 hours. Hmm. So let's get the crowns rigged up. We'll put some wiggle on the crowns. I've given up on having an angle Y. We'll keep it simple. Because, I'll be honest, I am not at the level of rigging an Iron Mouse model yet. Like, some of those things are damn near photorealistic, and I don't have those chops yet. Wiggly for ugly. Okay, what else? Crown. Oh, first off, we've got to give it movements on angle X, and then we'll give it movements on angle Z. Yeah. We will work with one at a time. I don't think the flower crown and the crown are supposed to be the same thing. So the crown is going to need... It's going to need a rotation deformer. Crown metal. And one for the flower crown. Crown flower. So I'm going to take this, and we're going to move that center point. Take this, and we're going to control-click, move that center point to right where it's sitting down, because that way the crown can wobble a bit. Well, second thought, let's move that a little bit higher, because then when it wobbles, it's still noticeably on the head. So undo that wobble. Now, crown metal is going to have points on angle X, because it needs to move. So how's this? Give it a little bit of tilt. Just a tad. There. Now it's a crown. Move it off to the side just a bit because it's getting scrubbed over by that eye. Yeah, that'll do. Really, I should be giving it some adjustments here. But I kind of like the aesthetic of it's a big heavy crown that doesn't move much no matter what the frog does. So then we'll swap it out for the flower crown. And we got to make sure that this has a name. Crown flower. Crown metal. Bullseye of that pearl there. So do I want to give this thing any sort of flap? It's all in one piece, so I don't think that would be a good idea. So where does this sit on the head? Get out of here, label. I know it's a flower crown. There we go. And then, because this one is small, we're going to give it some wiggle. Am I? Because that's a whole nother layer of physics. And it's not that tall. So what am I going to do with it? I haven't done any of the physics stuff yet. I'll give it angle and I'll give it deformation. So we'll do this in the middle. It'll have an X and a Y overall, and it'll have another X for, because there's the bulk of something and then there's the soft tissue. But this is all soft tissue. It's flower petals. So I guess that would be everything but this. Since I don't have eyebrows on this, we're going to edit these. Crown flower is X1. CFP PX1. Ranges from I'll give it 30s because it has a default and it will have a lot of little steps in between. Go with X2. And again with the 30s. Doesn't need 2 Ys. Hmm. I'm going to make them all, and I don't know if I'm going to use them. That is how we learn. By messing it up. There we are. Perfect. So that's a whole physics thing now. But what's it going to be? It'll have squish and it'll have bend. So let's get X1. Let's get that squishing. Wait a minute. I'm going to need another deformer for this. So this is the wobble. The wobble should be inside the bend. So I can mess with this, right? I can. Perfect. So X1 will be the bend. So we'll go out here and we'll start bending it. I'll do my level best not to affect that pearl. This should actually be down. Manual edits on this. Again, with the overall tilt of anytime that you're manually editing points, there's probably something wrong. But that's okay. Once again, that's how learning works. Is that... Ugh, snippets everywhere. Quack. Hello, Noodle. How do you do? How is your Saturday this fine morning? You do. Who do? All right, so there's the bend. Now, what happens if I reflect that motion? What in the world? If I reflect that motion, reflect horizontally. Nothing. Weird. Usually that does something. Oh well. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. So this is going to go down, this is going to go up. All right. Just wanted to hop in and say hi. All right. Hello, Noodle. Thank you for stopping in. So we'll bring this part down a little bit. There we go. There we go. All is right with the world. Did I miss anything? I don't think I missed anything. Okay. Yeah, so in the middle, after we've got the bend, we need the wobble. Okay. That's going to make stout and wide. So let's make this wide. We're going to make it real wide. Real wide. but also stout. It's got to be stout. Shockingly stout. What game is this from? Oh, Binding of Isaac. Wow, I really did mess that up entirely. So before changing all of that, we're going to make it this one, and that's going to be the wide one. I need more Beziers here. Not Beziers. I need more conversion divisions. Because 5 is not quite enough. I think 6 might even be the magic number here. Because with 6, I can mess with stuff. Yeah, and that center pearl is never going to move. Yeah. Bring this way down. Now I'm considering what if I did it a little bit more like this. So how's that? Looks like physics, all right. Make that a little bit bigger and rounder. Bring that out in the corners just a tad. This should be a bit lower. Okay. Yeah, now we're going to make it really skinny and tall. Whoops. Too many clicks. Let's try that again. About that big. And one more in here. There we go. So now we start messing with these pointers. Maybe stretch that out a bit to get those petals to be still existing. Because I want that. All right. And the rotation should also have a hand in this one. Get out of here. Okay, yeah, that's something. I feel like this physics is going to look weird. Crown flower angle. So I shouldn't need the ID of that. Okay, what am I going to do? Honestly, at this point, I should probably just call it a day. Because I still need to get the crown physics done. I want to see if I can turn the frog around. I'm ambitious on that one. And what else? A dance. I haven't put a dance in yet. So, all right, I am going to call it here for the day for the sake of, well, you got to have boundaries. You just got to. So, where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? Wonder if chai is still on. Chai is still on. Oh, but honey is on too. We'll go with Pocket Paris. All right. Thanks for coming out, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, Sunday, giant robots. It'll be great. Thank you for hanging out while we did our art.